Alright guys, hey, what's up? So I bought my first deck recently for this game. Been in this game for probably about half a year now, playing online simulators and stuff like that, using like tabletop and whatnot. And I recently bought my first deck, participated in my first tournament, went X and 2, horrible bad time. But we have another tournament coming up on the regional, online regional. We're gonna see how it goes. So I'll keep you all posted. But first, just from the eggs, we have 4 eggs. You'll be able to tell what I'm playing with. Sunamon, that's right. This is a Garurumon Melga deck. I've played a lot of the decks recently because you know when you got the online simulators, you just keep testing and testing and testing. I really like Melga a lot. I've gone through like 3 or 4 different list variations, and I've looked at all like the topping list for the EX, the Ultimate Cups recently for the EX3 meta. And I've landed on this list, so I haven't separated them, so my apologies for that. So we're gonna go ahead. All right. So, okay, while I'm separating the cards real quick, look at these fucking sleeves. God, dude, these sleeves are so fucking sick. My fucking god, they're so good. Holy fuck, I love them so much. I'm really excited for the BT11, BT12 stuff with some of the Beelzemon and Gallantmon lines getting support. I'm trying so hard to debate whether or not I think the deck's going to be good enough to play in the BT11, BT like 12-ish meta. Just because I really want to, but I don't want to play a deck that's just gonna like lose because it's gonna feel bad. Luckily with Garurumon being so oppressive in BT11, I think Melga's gonna fall out of favor a little bit. So for those of you who hate this deck, congrats. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start off with some of the rookies here. Okay, so we're playing one of the EX1 Gabumon. This card feels really good. As at any point in the game, I want to run more of it, honestly. Just because it feels really nice to have that searching consistency boost going in. It just sucks that it finds Gabus instead of Garurus. That's the only problem I have with it. But it finding tamers, like getting a Cool Boy or a Davis off the top, or even one of our spicier techs, it's really nice. Coming in next, we got the 4 of the Structure Deck 8 Gabumons. I think that's what ST stands for, Structure Deck. Whatever, doesn't matter. These ones give you the bonus 1000 DP. I've seen some decks cutting down on it, but this is just so good in the mirror. Like if you have, if your Garuru has the boost from Sunamon and the boost from the Gabumon, realistically, you're going to be beating over everything in their security, along with some of the other techs that we have going on in here. But yeah, it's just really good in the mirror. It doesn't really help too much against decks like security control, but you can also get. I mean, you just gotta. Security control fucking sucks. You just gotta deal with it sometimes. That's what it is. Now we're running 3 of the Gabumon from BT5. We're missing some cards still. We're missing an Ice Wall, which is gonna be in this deck. We're missing another one of these, and I'm pretty sure we're missing an X Antibody. They're still on the way. I've had this deck for a little bit in person, but I had to reorder because I didn't like the list that I ended up ordering after a couple more hours of testing. The reason I'm running 3 of these Gabumons is it puts our rookie count to 12 from 11, which is where I had it at. And I want this one in particular just because it's another searcher. A lot of times you'll end up with 2 rookies in hand, and so just having a 3 memory rookie to search, preferably like the promo Garuru or whatever you're missing, really is really nice. Plus also hitting an Omnimon off the grip is also really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these guys here. So just 3 of those. And then finally, 4 of the Gabumon X Antibody. These guys are really nice. That's it. This deck has like some unique lines, and like having to try and decide whether or not you evolve in Raising on top of a regular Gabu, or if you hard play it for the search, or if you instead wait till next turn, depending on the deck you're up against, if it's slow enough, so that way you can raise the Gabu, go into the X Antibody Gabu, get the draw and the search. plus any other bonuses if you have any cool boys or things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the lines are a bit more difficult than I think would be expected. Like, this deck is very straightforward in the way it plays, but there's like very key decision-making points that really affect the outcome of the game individually. You kind of just have to look at your hand and then just play to your out of like, oh, okay, well, I'm missing the promo Garuru, so I have to find that shit now. Or damn, I'm missing like my Melga, so I won't be able to OTK if I don't hit it during this like six card draw combo. But yeah. Anyways. Next up, self-explanatory, the 4 of the promo Garurumons. If you have this in hand and a Gabu, any of your ultimates or the X antibody Garurus are just draw spells, basically, which is really nice, being able to cycle through your deck so that way, even if the stack gets bunked, we will have enough value to kind of just make a second stack and go for lethal. However, this deck, if you out its first stack within its like first swing or two, it's kind of cooked a lot of the time. Just because it's really hard to find the material to make a third stack. A second stack is a bit easier, but if you can out the first 2 stacks of this deck, you're set pretty much against it. There's not much it can do against you. Next up, we got 4 of the X antibodies. Pretty crucial. If you don't see it in your combo, you're just playing the lottery at that point, which feels horrible. Like, excluding against decks like Security Control, like going into like the mirror, and you just have to hope that they can't beat your 6k body, which is why we run the Sunomon, even though some decks run Upamon, and this is also why we run the 4 copies of this Gabumon. Just because making this an 8k at least insulates us a lot more. Like running into like the Garuru in security doesn't instantly kill us. Of course, that's like a worst case scenario. You obviously want things on top of it, but it is what it is. They're playing 2 of the BT5 Garurumons. I hate this card so much, but it's like the next best champion to go into. But God, does it feel awful. Like, you needed the Garurumon name. If you didn't, I would play something different. But you need the Garurumon name for your Garurus. And it costs 1 to Digivolve, technically, because it's a on-Digivolving effect, gives you a memory. So you have to do this in the play area. You can't do it in raising, otherwise it just costs 2. As well as the play costs 5, which feels horrible as well, considering the promos only cost 4 to play, which you'll do sometimes. You'll just hard play a promo and then try and go from there, which is still totally fine. You hate to see this guy. You do. But it's mandatory to run just so that way you have a way to like get your stack out of raising and feel decent about it. But yeah, back to what I was saying earlier. Yeah, the deck is so oppressive though. Like, honestly, it's very similar to like Imperial, where like if you just have the nuts and your opponent doesn't have some kind of out in their security, you will win. There's nothing I think any deck can do except for Melga. Even if they set up a blocker, if you have like they have like a Bloom Lord Mon and Cherrymon, you can still kill them over that. With like Garuru attack, X antibody, evolve. That's 2 checks. They block the first one. You trash the other 2 boys. Who cares? Then you go into Melga attack. It's 2 checks. Unsuspend with Melga X attack. Unsuspend from the unsuspend attack. They have 0 security, and you just go into Omnimon and you win. Like, even through a blocker, there's so much. It's just so oppressive comparatively to, I think any other deck in the format. It should. I hope it gets hit. I do. Like, yeah, I just invested in it, and it'll make me cry if it gets hit. But there's not much I can do, because it's just so unfair to, I think, every other deck in the format. But it's fine. All right, we're playing a bit different top lineup. So we got 4 Garurumons. I think they're insane. Should definitely limit this or the promo to 1 if they want this deck to kind of stop obliterating every Ultimate Cup and Regional. This deck is also... Okay, so I know I just said I want this deck to be hit, right? But I also don't, because this deck is so cheap. This deck is so beginner friendly. It's that and MetalGarurumon X. I think they're the best 2 beginner friendly decks, and this one's so cheap. It's literally dirt cheap. I tried to get into this format during BT8 with Imperial and Masamon, and it was like $400 for a deck. And I was like, bro, I can't justify that for a game I don't know anything about yet. Well, I started getting back into the game a lot more around the end of BT9, the start of BT10, and it's like, oh, this deck's insane. Well, EX3 comes out, and I decided to pull the trigger, because I'm like, you know what? People are thinking that Hydromon's gonna be like insane, but with the nerf to Crossheart, I was like, there's no shot. Melga just seems to be destroying this deck in testing, and I was completely right. All the EX3 decks kind of suck. Like, if you're a good pilot, you can definitely top with them, but they're just not as good as like what we had in BT9, which is insane to me. And then we're running 3 of the X antibody. I ordered 4. The 4th one never came in. Started running 3. I see it so consistently. I was running an Altruist mode too for a little bit as like the 4th copy. Who cares? Who cares if you're going against a rush deck on the ground, bro? You're just gonna beat over them. You're just gonna kill them, and there's nothing they can do about it. But yeah. Anyways, on to our megas. We're running 2 MetalGarurumons. I'm thinking of bumping this down to 1 and running 3 copies instead of 2 of the Melga X Antibody. We're running a 3rd copy of X Antibody, so I think that just having this is fine. This card is good against Crossheart. Really good against Crossheart. You don't run into Crossheart that much right now. Crossheart's not that good anymore. I know some people are still coping on it, but it's really not that great. But yeah, currently running 2 and 2. I'm thinking of going 1 and 3 instead, though, just because this card is so impactful in a lot of different board states. Just being able to, like, they wipe your shit, they wipe your stack, and they have a lethal push, and they give you enough memory to, like, digivolve up into this guy. Getting a blocker out will just save the game. Whereas if I just had this guy in hand instead, he's a lot less useful in a lot of board states, unfortunately. But I'll think on it a little bit more. I'll do a couple more hours of testing and see. On to our level 7s. We've got Omnimon and Omnimon X. I've seen some decks run 1 of either of these. I think that 2 is really nice. I really do. I've had so many scenarios where the push from the X antibody isn't lethal, and I've had so many scenarios where the push from the Omnimon isn't lethal. But typically, by the point in time where I need these guys, I'll have them both in hand. And so going Omnimon swing, X antibody digivolve, mid swing, tossing the last card in security and going in for lethal happens so often and so consistently in this deck. It's actually crazy. Plus, there's another upside of the fact that these guys can be in your security. Melga has an issue where attacking our security is pretty safe usually. Like, yeah, you can run into an X antibody Melga, but overall, there's not really much you're super worried about hitting in security. Besides, like, maybe the X antibodies or Hammer Sparks if you're running those. But yeah, just some nice nice security bombs that'll hopefully out a pretty decent stack. Let me go ahead and grab some of the spicier tech here. So I've seen some people running 1 Davis, which to me I think is kind of a mistake. You really want to find this guy earlier in the game. Play it for 4, turn 1. Kind of hate it a little bit, but also you get a search, kind of fix your hand. Searching in this deck is key. If you find what you're missing from your stack and you get the combo pieces, you're set. you're good. You don't need anything else. So these searches are really important. Plus, getting 3 memory means that you can go into your Where Garuru. You can promote your Guru X, go into your Where Garuru, swing, stand, swing again, go into the X antibody, swing again. That's 4 checks right there. Plus, hopefully at this point, if you have either some Hammer Sparks in hand or you have a Blue Memory boost on the field, you can typically go the regular Melga, which is why I'm running 2 of those. Regular Melga into the Melga X and go from there. And that's only possible because you have Davis on field. Getting that 3 memory guaranteed lets you start your push like a turn earlier, basically. We're running 3 Cool Boys. I want to run 4. I do. But also, God. I took out one of my Melgas. I was running 3X antibodies. I took out one of the Melgas because I was trying to update the list because I wanted to be more consistent. And I think that's the key point of this deck is if you can make it consistent, you only need your top end like once or twice. And so when I did that, I was like, well, I'm going to be whiffing more on my Cool Boy. So I'm going to take that out. So I took out an extra copy. And then I put another X antibody. And I was like, well, now it's the same. But I still kind of just want to run 3. Because I want to put in an Ice Wall as my fourth copy here instead of the Cool Boy. So I think Ice Wall is just disgusting. Anyways, time for our bricks. I'm playing 1 hero. You hate to see this guy early, hate to see this guy mid, hate to see this guy late. This guy is in here because side decking isn't really an option in a lot of these tournaments right now, unfortunately. So I play hero because I play ADP. ADP makes the security control matchup feel not like hell. The downside, though, is trying to get to the ADP. My mind was like, yo, this actually makes so much sense. Oh my god, I can play hero and then I can play ADP. 1 copy of ADP is all I need. I cycle so much. I cycle by attacking. If I'm attacking, I'm losing my stack. What am I ADPing at that point? But I think it's still just mandatory. Because if you do hit the hero ADP into your stack, you just win the game against security control. They can't stop you. The only thing they can do is hope to hit 2 Death X's, basically, or like a Junomon Death X in their security to stop you from OTKing them. But, you know, it's just not in the cards for them a lot of the time. And then finally, we're going into our option cards. We're running 3 X antibody. We're running 3 because we want some decent stuff in our security too. So having a 3rd copy of it feels good. And you pretty much always want to have these in hand. Just because they're so convenient to have for the attacking effect. I was really knocking them for a little bit of like, they seem like kind of like gimmicky. But honestly, getting the attacking effect even without the card underneath and like the X antibody Digivolution effect, it's so good. It's actually so good. I would buy some pre-release copies of these if you could now, just because they're just gonna be viable for a while. But yeah, 3 copies of those, even though we have 2 of them here. We're just waiting for the other one to come in. Got the ADP, as you saw. We're running one of those, as explained prior. We're running 1 Hammer Spark. I fucking hate this card. This card's so good and I hate it. This card will win you some games. Absolutely. But this card is a brick in your fucking hand if you don't have combo pieces. And in my last tournament, I ended up having, it was ADP, Hammer Spark, X antibody. And then I think it was like a Where Garuru. And I was like, oh, that's actually super cool. What do I do with this? What do I do with this hand? So I said, fuck the Hammer Spark. We're going down to 1. We'll find it during the... We'll find it. Don't worry. It'll never come up. I think there's been like 3 or 4 scenarios where having an extra memory means nothing. Whereas having 2 extra memory means a lot. And now you may be thinking, well, just run an extra Hammer Spark and you'll have it. That's 2 cards, baby. This is 1 card, 2 memory. This card's insane. This card's cracked. I see this card in my opening hand, I go, damn. Okay. I see 2 cards in my opening, I go, okay, damn. I see 3, I'm like, hey, this is a good hand right here. I can go blue memory boost, pass. Blue memory boost, pass. Blue memory boost, pass. And I don't feel bad about that shit. If they got a memory blocker, damn, that sucks. That's okay though. This is just searches. This is see top 12. Pick 3. That's insane. It's insane. It's so good. It's so good in this deck. It doesn't matter. Consistency. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. That's it. Thank you for watching.